Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a fun one today from Jimmy Eat World. My first lesson from Jimmy Eat World. I don't know why I've taken so long to do it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm from the South, so English is my second language. We're gonna do The Middle. This was real fun to play. It's got a great guitar solo in it too. That's kind of, if you don't have a lot of solos under your belt, it might challenge you a little bit, but it's a good one to try. It's got a lot of cool techniques in it. So we're gonna do all of it today. Before I do, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the notification bell, all the good jazz. And please support your favorite guitar YouTuber. I don't care if it's me or anybody else. Specifically tutorial guitar YouTubers, because they're YouTube's kind of throwing us all under the bus. So let's just support the guys in any way you can. It doesn't have to be financial. Just share their videos the best you can. Like and comment on the videos. Share them like good old days. Go on Facebook. Hey, look at this guy's lessons. It's something, whatever. But if you can financially support them, of course, like on their channel, or if they have an academy, sign up for their academy. It's a great way to support this group of guys that are really trying hard to help the world learn how to play guitar. And it used to be a great thing here on YouTube, and now people just want to watch people throw things off buildings. I don't know. But anyway, so let's turn it back around. If you want to join my academy, you'll see a link to that in the description below. Free 7-day trial, access to all my courses, personalized support from me, access to my live streams that I do with just academy members every weekend. It's a great community over there, so please check it out. Let's jump into the track. Now, before we get into the song, we are in drop D tuning. So if you don't know what that is, it's regular standard tuning. I'll put the notes in the description too, but it's regular standard tuning. You just take your low E string though, so the 6th string, tune it down a whole step to D. So it's pretty much everything else is still A, D, G, B, E. So it's just like a standard tune guitar. But when you do that, it allows us to kind of do those, sounds bigger, it's more fun to play with. So anyway, let's jump into this. So we have this, this intro, which is really kind of two parts going on here. Really heavily muted rhythm part and this little melody being played on top of it. So the melody looks like this. All right, so nothing too hairy there. So what we're basically doing is we're starting at the 4th fret here. So we're gonna just lay your palm. So just the outside of your hand. So outside the bottom of your palm here. Just let it touch the strings right in front of that bridge there. So that's what turns the string from sounding like this to this. Unmuted, and then lay that palm on just lightly, and it gives you that nice palm muted sound. Makes the notes cut a little bit better. So it's going to start here hitting a couple hits on that 4th fret there on the D string, and then I'm going to take it over to the 5th fret on the A string there. All right, so this. That one's muted too, obviously. They're all muted here. And then, so it goes. Then you come back to that 4th fret there on the D string, hit like 5 times. And then take it down to the 2nd fret there on the D. Hit that a couple times. And then over to the 4th fret on the A string. So this. And the best way to do stuff like this, by the way, is not really to be counting how many times you hit each note. It's a melody. It's like, this is just be able to hum it then you know the timing of when to change a note. But the rhythm is the same. It's it's just straight down strokes. It's straight. As long as you can hear the melody, you can match the notes up. So it's so the rhythm's not really changing in the right hand, right? All right, so after you're at the 4th fret there on the A, then you're gonna move up here to the 5th fret, then back down to 4, and then back to 5. So we have this all together. Now, I've watched a few live videos of this, and he usually kind of messes around with it a little bit, especially towards the end there. I'm doing the studio version here, so there's a couple things that they don't do live that they do on the studio recording, and I'll be talking about those when I get there. So anyway, so we have that going on. Underneath it, we have a really heavily palmed. So that's what's going on underneath that part. So we're gonna make it's really heavily muted power chords. So it's just the bottom 2 strings. So you just the bottom 2 strings open. Still get that mute there, just in that same rhythm, just straight down. And then at the same thing, but at the 7th fret. So you'll be holding the 7th fret across the low D string now, and the A string. Just use one finger for that. Then down to the 5th fret. Same 2 strings. Then the opens again. So that's what's going on underneath that. All right, so the verse is a little bit different on the recording than I've seen them play it live. The verse, you can do pretty much straightforward with this, that kind of the same thing we were just doing there underneath the intro. But kind of a better way, it's kind of like, you can do it kind of a single note version of it. So it's more like, so it's just one string. So you can kind of do it like that. Kind of a closer approximation of what it would be like, kind of that one string version of it. So not the full power chords. When you start over with the thing, you're going to start here at the 5th fret on the A. So you're going to basically bring the octave up from that low string. So the 5th fret on the A, and then the rest is the same. All right, so that's basically we can say the rhythm part of the verse. There's 2 parts going on. Now the second part, whenever I see them play it live, they're pretty much, they got one guy just kind of just holding a D chord, pretty much, a D power chord, and while the other one's doing that kind of moving bass line. But that's not on the recording. On the recording, we basically, the second time around the progression, it goes to this little melody that happens on the G string with the open D ringing underneath it. So that's the second time through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the whole verse, but say this is guitar number 2, and on the recording, the studio recording, not like I said, I haven't been able to find a video of them, even from back in the day to current performances, where they're actually playing that melody live. But if you listen, it's easier to hear on the isolated track. So if you can find that on YouTube, it's easier to hear that little melody. But anyway, so we have that rhythm part that I just went through, and then we're gonna match that rhythm part, play the same way with guitar 2 the first time through the chords, and then the second time I'm gonna go up into that little melody. So it looks like this. so like I said, that's kind of very low in the mix. Probably why they don't even bother doing it live, because it's not very apparent in the mix. But when you add it to it, it actually sounds pretty good, and you can match the recording a lot better. So that little thing, so like I said, the first half of it's the same that we did, the other guitarist doing. And then we have this that comes in the second time through. So this is all the open D string. Both of these strings are going to be muted, so it's the two middle strings. Open D is going to ring the whole time. And that kind of straight eighth note feel, all downstrokes, muted. But the melody note is going to be on the on the G string. So 7, then 6, back to 7. Then it goes back to 6, hits it twice, and then hits the 7 once, then hits the open D and open G together. So we have this. Okay, and then it's going to go 4 on the G string, a couple times, down to 2. Remember, open D underneath the whole time. And then you're going to slide back to the 6th fret there on the G string. Hit that 3 times, and then back to 7. And that builds to the chorus. So we have this. This takes All right, so this very, very catchy chorus that we have here is going to start with this D major chord here. Live recently, they play the A chord as an A sus2, which they do that in the solo, but they don't do it in the regular chorus on the original recording. So it's just a regular A major chord on the original recording. Like I said, they do hit that open A sus2 in the rhythm guitar part during the solo. We'll get to that in a second. So it's basically just hold it. Now that we have a tune to drop D, we have D, A, D there. So we can have that underneath it. And then on top, just a regular D major chord. And so now you can hit all 6 strings. Then it goes to an A. So this is the A major chord. Open A, 2nd fret across the D, G, and the B. Then it goes to a G. And this is actually a G power chord. It's an open G power chord, and it has to be played like this because of the tuning here. Since this G is supposed to be here normally, but if you tune the string down a whole step, then G has to be to play a G note right there. It's got to be moved up 2 frets. So that actually works out really well to play the chord. So he plays it like this. Actually, there's 2 ways of playing this G. One of the guitarists is doing it this way. The other one's doing it this way. So if you have 2 guitarists in your band, all these chords can be the same in the chorus, except for the G, you can voice it a couple different ways. So the main way, though, is, so the top 2 strings is going to be barred across the 3rd fret, the high E and the B. Open G, open D, and then your pinky's going to grab the 5th fret there on the A, and then the 5th fret on the low D string. It's a really cool sound. It's a big, huge open G chord, open G power chord. And then back to the big D that we started with. So they kind of hit that bass, the lower half of the chord first, then strum the full thing. Same thing on each chord. Check out I don't start with the whole chord. Hit the lower notes, then the whole thing. All right, so like the second guitarist is doing the same thing pretty much, except on that G chord. So he starts with the same chord, same A. I'm sorry. Here we go to the 5th fret here. So you're gonna bar across the 5th fret on the bottom 3 strings, and then play the 7th fret on the G and 8th fret there on the B. So just those 5 strings. And then, so just kind of mix it up there on that G. They kind of play kind of separate voicings that make it sound even bigger. All right, so that's the chorus. The chorus is just played one time through the first time you hear it. Then it goes back into the same exact verse that we played before. So it also has that say a little melody going on the second half of it. And then the chorus. Now the second time you hear the chorus, it's played twice as long, and there's a slight little pause they put between them. So it kind of looks like this. So it's the same thing. You just gotta, pause real quick, just kill the strings, and then start over. So that was it. It's just a little pause that you get to do, and they kind of accentuate that in the last chorus. I'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. So after the second chorus, we have the solo section. So there's a different rhythm guitar part here to this solo. So let me play the rhythm guitar first. You'll see at the very end here, we go to an A sus2 chord. So it's a new chord we haven't covered yet. So anyway, this is what's going on underneath the solo. All right, so we're playing this power chord here at the 7th fret, so across the 3 bottom strings. It's an A power chord. Then the bottom 3 strings open. Then back to 7. Then back to the open. Then there's this little moving line that's just. It's kind of hard to pick up. It's actually easier to hear that live when they play it live. So it's kind of, so it's just a single note thing. It's just 4 0 0 4 0 0 4, and then it goes to the 5th fret, it's G power chord. So that same across 3 strings there. Back to the open. Now here, we're gonna do basically 2 different versions of this chorus. We're gonna jump up here to this A power chord here. That's at that 7th fret across the 3 bottom strings. Strum it there. And then we go switch it. Kind of change the rhythm there. So that is going to be the open A string, 2nd fret there on the D, 2nd on the G, open B, open high E. That's when he's doing. It's when he's doing that part of the solo at the very end, the last 6 notes. That's when you. That's why that part of the solo sounds like he's doing this. There's open strings ring in there, but he doesn't play it like that. It's the chord underneath it. It's creating that. So that's all together for that solo rhythm again. All right, now let's get to the solo. Solo's fun to play. It's not the easiest thing in the world either. So we're gonna go through this real quick and I'll show you how to play it note for note. There we go. All right, so a lot of things going on, some legato playing, some octaves, some good like kind of muting techniques. So, and some tremolo picking, everything. It's got everything in it. All right, so we're going to start here with this opening line. So that's going to start with, so the second fret here on the B string, hammer 3, pull back off to 2, pull off to the open string. So that's the lick. So I'm going to start with that lick, and then we're going to take it across the strings. On the G string, it's going to be the same lick, so a hammer, pull, and then pull off to the open string. But it's between 2 and 4. So 2, hammer 4, pull back off to 2, pull off to the open G. So we have this. And then we're going to move up to the 4th fret here on the D. Same lick, but you'll play 4 and 5 here on the D. So 4, hammer 5, pull off to 4, open D, pull off to the open D. And then the same thing here on the A. Pick 4, hammer 5, pull off to 4, and pull off to the open A. So it's not straight, it's like. And then we have this. So that's a quick pull off from 4 to 0 on the D string. And then you grab that same unison of that note over on the 5th fret of the A string. It's kind of a cool lick. And then so back down to 4 and back up to 5. So then back down to 4. And then you had to do this little melody. So it kind of slides through. So after getting from here, then 4, 5, 4, then slide up 5 to 7, then back to 4, and back to 5, 5, 4, 5. So this. Back to 4, 5. So it's just good to know the melody. And then here, that's a quick hammer, that same lick we did earlier. Hammer 4 to 5, pull up to 4, open A. Then hit that low D string, the 6th string there. So this whole thing. Gotta just know that melody. And then we start that same lick again. So that same lick. And then that same little pull off from the 4th on the D to the open D to the unison. So that's all the same. And then just that little melody between the 4 and 5 there. And then we start the octave. So the octaves, if you're not used to them, they're great little things for muting. Because a lot of times you can hit all strings and you just hear these 2 notes, which is the same note an octave apart. So how to do that? We basically have the 5th fret here on the A string. So the octave line we're going to do here is. So that is going to be the 5th fret there on the A, and then the 7th fret there on the D. You can use this. He uses his ring finger. But the key here is the index finger because it's muting all those other strings. So I'm holding this 5th fret there on the A string, but I'm not doing it directly with the tip. I'm letting that be held a little bit lower on the fingertip. So the very tip of my index finger touches the bottom of that 6th string, so it mutes it. And then the rest of the index finger, it's only holding that note. So after that note, it's releasing, not playing, it's kind of arcing off that note. It's still touching the strings, but it's not holding them down. Therefore, it's muting the D, that open D string on the 4th string. it's also muting the B and the high E. So that finger right there, so watch, I could play this one note. I'm playing that one note on the A string of the 5th fret, but all the other notes are muted around all the other strings. So that's all you're hearing is that one note. Now in front of that, since it's not going to be affected since this bar is behind it, I'm going to play an octave in front of it. So that's a D here, and this is another D here at the 7th fret of the G string. So now we have that 2 notes together. All right, now we tremolo pick. So just keep your wrist loose. Sometimes it's easier if you're tremolo picking, especially when you're tremolo picking across multiple strings. Not so much on one string. You can keep a normal pick technique. But here, sometimes it's good to kind of raise your wrist a little bit. That kind of allows you to get across the strings easier, loosen up that wrist. So the melody, you just go from 5 and then move it to 7. All the muting, same shape. So I'm saying 7, that's where the index finger is. 5, 7, 9, and then when you get to 10, you stop. You just hit 10 twice. You're not doing any more tremolo picking on it. So it looks like this. So just like that. All right, so now after we get up here, after the tremolo picking, we're up here at the 10th fret. We're going to stay there. We're going to start a melody without tremolo picking. It looks like this. So that's same muting, same strings, but we're at the 10th fret now on the A string. You're going to slide up to 12, and then back to 10. Remember, that's the index finger I'm calling out the position. The other finger goes with it. 12, slide to 12, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10. And then do that again, but it's going to be slightly different ending. So that was the same melody. Instead of going 9, 10 at the end, it goes 9 and hits the open D string. So like this. And from here we have this. So that's that. We hit the open D first, and then we have this 7 on the G. And then back to the open D. So back that 7 on the G. Take that 7, slide up to 9, so it is. Then the open D again. Then pick 9 on the G. And then pick it and slide up to 11, so it is. And then the open D string, and then we have, then it just goes open D, 11, 12, 11, 12. All right, and now we're going to end the song with another little tremolo pick thing until we do those single notes at the end. So it looks like this. All right, so that's just going to be now tremolo picking here at the 10th fret on the high string. You can mute it behind it. You'll see he has a big mute here because he might hit more than one string, but it doesn't matter. You're just basically, he's holding it with his middle finger and then muting with that. What you see going on with the index finger is he's just muting all the strings. It's kind of like the index finger is the big mute of the fret hand. So that's what he's doing. He's just muting behind it, so just in case he hits other strings, you don't hear them. So we have the 10th fret there, then 9, 7, 5. That far is tremolo picked. And then we just get down to the last 6 notes, which are not tremolo picked. They're just single notes. Which is 3, 2, 0 on the high E string, and then the same thing, 3, 2, 0 on the B string. And that is it for the solo. All right, so remember that when they had that, when that sus2 chord is going on and the A sus2 chord, that's kind of matching what's going on there, those last 6 notes. All right, so then it gets back to the verse. It kind of catches the verse, and it starts this little I don't know, synth thing or going on, and it kind of catches back. So the first D chord, there's no guitar, and then catches it on that that second chord. So that's what's going on there in the verse. Other than that, it's the same. And then we get to the chorus. Now this second chorus, this last chorus, I'm sorry. So it's the third chorus in the song, played slightly different, same chords, same everything, just rhythm slightly different. So it's going to play the chorus the normal way the first time, pause, and it's going to kind of do a quick pause between each chord at the end. So it looks like this all together. All right, so that, of course, there wasn't a pause between the last two chords there, but so it's the same chorus. Remember, one guitarist is doing the G like that, the other is doing it like that. So it's just the same as we did earlier. We're hitting the lower part of the chorus. That's all. Then that pause, just like we did before to start the chorus over, but here we're going to do that pause between each chord. So that pause takes the place of where we hit the lower part of the chord first. So that's where that pause happens. So now when you come back in with the chorus, it's full chord. So it's just like, so it's a pause, full chord. Pause, full chord. Pause, full chord. And then no pause. Just ended on that D major chord. All right, so that's it. It's a really fun song to play, especially if you got two guitars. You can really make it sound identical to the recording and make everything come together. And I guess people love it, so it's got a great melody. Anyway, I'll see you guys again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.